Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. And can I congratulate the Chair of the Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee for securing this important debate on sport and youth services. The debate is timely, not just coinciding with the World Cup in Wimbledon, and yes, like other honourable and right honourable members, I will be hiding behind a sofa somewhere on the estate from 5 p.m. tomorrow for the England match, but it also coincides with the recent publication of the Milburn report and, of course, the Children's Commissioner findings this week, which show a 10% rise in children and young people's referrals to mental health services over the past decade. For too long, sport and youth services have been an afterthought for government. And as many honourable members have already said, young people need space and the opportunity to express themselves. They need trusted role models and structure in their lives. Both sports and youth services give them the chance to discover their talents and build their confidence, as well as help them improve both their mental and physical health. Yet the Milburn report showed that failing to invest in prevention carries through into poorer education and employment outcomes. If we want happy, healthy and hopeful and productive adults, we must first invest in happy, healthy and hopeful children and young people. So I strongly support the Select Committee's recommendation to hardwire 2 hours of physical education into the school week. Now, PE, of course, is funded largely by the Department for Education, with some support from the Department for Health and Social Care, although we know there's recently been a tussle between the two over funding. The resulting recent announcement saw annual funding for PE slashed by a staggering 22% under the government's new PE and sports schools partnership network, with primary schools hit the hardest. These cuts are being rushed through mid-year, leaving teachers, parents and sports coordinators scrambling. And Madam Deputy Speaker, this comes at the worst possible moment. In England, 2.1 million young people do less than 30 minutes physical activity a day, and only 57% of teachers say their schools deliver the recommended 2 hours of PE each week. Sky's game-changing report estimates a participation gap between girls and boys in secondary school of a staggering 280 million hours of sport per year. If we want to see many more years of Lionesses and Red Roses lifting trophies, we need to be investing in the next generation now, both through sport in school and in our communities. Cutting budgets at a time when children need it most, as they're spending more time in front of their screens, as we've just heard, it's incomprehensible.
So, friend give way?
I'll give way to my honourable friend.
I thank the honourable member for giving way. So teachers and parents in South Devon are also very worried about the future of PE following the cuts in funding, but many areas already have very successful school sports partnerships, with schools pooling their premium and working with organisations like Active Partnerships. So does my honourable friend agree that the government needs to clarify whether schools will be allowed to build on the relationships that already exist with these existing partnerships continuing to operate under the new system, or will they all be forced to start from scratch?
I thank my honourable friend for her intervention. Partnerships, of course, are valuable, and I don't oppose the approach the government is taking forward. It's the fact that the overall funding envelope is declining and being spread now across both primary and secondary schools, which is a real terms cut in sports, which we're hearing from all sides of the House is so important to our children's well-being and health. And just moving on to grassroots sports more broadly, with Sport England losing its function as a statutory planning consultee, it's hard to see how the government's aim of promoting healthy communities can be met when facility provision we know is declining due to closures, ageing infrastructure and uneven availability. Local authorities, Madam Deputy Speaker, are trying their best, but they need help. Udney Park playing fields in my own constituency in the area of Teddington has been lying dormant for over a decade, out of reach from the local community who are crying out for additional pitch space while it's being land banked by developers. This isn't just limited to my constituency. As London Sport told the Select Committee, they have had to look at running sports activities in car parks, empty shops and libraries because of massive disinvestment in parks, leisure and community centres and youth services. As this debate does also cover youth services, I wanted to briefly touch on that, Madam Deputy Speaker, if I may. Liberal Democrats have long campaigned for a fair long-term funding settlements to support youth work, resources and infrastructure, so we very much welcome the government's national youth strategy, particularly the government's promise to introduce multi-year funding settlements. However, we do need government to deliver on that promise. Earlier this year, the YMCA reported that spending on youth services by local authority in England and Wales fell by 10% in a single year, the largest annual reduction since 2016-17. We know that as well as improving educational outcomes, youth services provide the relational infrastructure that prevents disengagement from becoming entrenched and protects our vulnerable young people and creates a sense of belonging. I've seen myself what that investment can achieve at the West Youth Zone in London, where there are over 30 activities every evening serving a very disadvantaged community. I was told if the young people didn't have that space, they'd be on their bedrooms, in their bedrooms, on their phones all the time. So coming to a conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, as investment in youth services has fallen, spending on youth justice has risen, we need to focus on prevention, whether that's in youth services, whether that's through sport. We hope that the government's rhetoric will be matched by investment and commitment in terms of delivery. Thank you.